Ladies, are you tired of your hair breaking off and getting bad relaxers and your hair just won't grow? Well, listen up, because it's time for Cathy's Black Hair Truth Tip, exposing the chemical relaxer myths. Is your hair thinning? Are you balding and losing patches of your hair and don't really know why? Do you blame heredity, medication, climate, or hair garments for your hair loss? If you are chemically relaxing your hair, that's the first thing you need to consider. Have you ever really thought about the ingredients in chemical relaxers and perms? Probably not, because we have the perception that relaxers are safe. The fact is, the main ingredient in relaxers is the same chemical you pour down your sink to dissolve hair in it. Let's take an honest look at some of the myths surrounding relaxers and perms. The first myth regarding relaxers is the no-lie lie. Be forewarned, dear sisters, no-lie and lie relaxers are the very same thing. No-lie relaxers are a slower working form of lie. They were formulated for the kitchen beauticians who do their own relaxers, so you have more time to apply them. The active ingredient found in no-lie relaxers can be calcium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, grenadine hydroxide, just to name a few. So there are no no-lie relaxers, so put that lie to rest. The second myth regarding relaxers has to do with the misconception that kiddie relaxers are milder than adult relaxers. This is one of the biggest marketing ploys by the hair care industry. Would you believe the chemicals in kiddie relaxers are exactly the same relaxers in adult relaxers and just as strong? To test this theory, go to a beauty supply store and find a kiddie relaxer and an adult relaxer made by the same manufacturer. Turn both boxes to the ingredients list. You'll notice that the ingredients in the kiddie relaxer are exactly the same as the adult relaxer, and in most cases, the list of ingredients will fall exactly in the same order. So what's the real difference in these two chemical relaxer products? The difference is who the advertisers market each product to. The cold hard facts are, number one, kiddie relaxers are marketed to the moms of children with afro-textured hair. The industry wants moms to think that the kiddie relaxer will not harm their children. Number two, a kiddie relaxer will produce third-degree burns on your children just like an adult relaxer. Number three, kiddie relaxers will cause your child's hair to thin and will never return. And finally, kiddie relaxers can make your child and you bald. Do you want to be guilty of causing your child to lose her hair forever? Just because it says for kids does not mean it is safe. The third myth regarding relaxers has to do with how often you apply them. What's the correct answer? 6 weeks? 2 months? Twice a year? Do you think that how long you wait to apply your relaxer will not be as dangerous? Traditionally, we have been taught to have a retouch or a perm every 6 to 8 weeks, or when your new growth is about 1 inch long. One of the problems with getting relaxers frequently is that you are subjecting yourself to a very caustic chemical that is being pushed into your head over and over again. Is it logical to think that the skull protects your brain from the chemical? Yes, it is. But what about your pores? Does the application of chemical relaxers cause damage to your body when it goes into the pores? You better believe it does. Let's first remember that a relaxer is a very caustic chemical that will burn you severely if left on too long. Remember also that relaxers contain the very same chemicals we pour down the drain to eat away hair clogs in the drain. You reason that if it's done by a professional that it will not cause you harm? Wrong again. Hairdressers receive approval for their certification from the Cosmetology Licensing Board after they have demonstrated the technique of applying relaxers by pushing the chemical against your head to smooth the hair. Black women lose their hair with chemical relaxers because of the way they are applied. Hairdressers are taught in beauty school to put their gloves on and smooth the product with the back of their hands, with their fingers, and with the comb. But here's the reality. They are smoothing it against your head. It is the smoothing technique that is causing the chemical to be pushed into your pores. Here's a novel idea. Insist a relaxer is not pushed against your head to smooth, but against the stylist's hand if you want to save your hair. If the stylist is not open to your suggestions, don't be intimidated by them. Find someone who respects your wishes. Repeatedly pushing relaxers against your head will result in thinning hair and eventually balding. No one is conducting studies to see if relaxer chemicals have a long-term effect on the body because it is not of interest to the hair care industry. The hair care industry is interested in making money. It is up to us as Black women to guard our health and our hair. How often you get a relaxer should be extended as long as you can go, perhaps 3 months or more. Keeping caustic chemicals off your head will help keep your hair on your head. And final myth about relaxers is the natural relaxer. To use the term natural relaxers, we have to look at what makes relaxers work. Typically, relaxers use active ingredients from caustic chemicals to soften the bonds of coily hair so they can be reformed straight. The chemicals that are used are very close to hair removers and drain cleaner. To be a natural relaxer, the ingredients would have to be safe, non-caustic, and the pH cannot be anywhere close to hair removers. Remember Rio and their so-called natural relaxer? The advertisers were shown eating the product from the container. Well, their natural herbs and spices gimmick was exposed when their highly acid chemical concoctions resulted in over 200,000 users with green hair and oozing sores on their head. The FDA stepped in and shut down this so-called natural relaxer company. There are no known herbs on this earth that can straighten afro-textured hair permanently. To straighten this hair type permanently requires the bonds in the hair to be altered and then reformed into a straight pattern. Natural relaxers are a gimmick, so avoid being ripped off by an industry tactic that makes the user the loser. So you ask me if it's okay to continue to relax your hair? That's a personal decision you have to make. But to keep your hair on your head, you must ensure relaxer chemicals never touch your scalp to prevent hair loss. I personally gave up chemical relaxers in 2004, and I don't plan to put liquid drain cleaner on my head ever again. This has been Cathy Howse with another Black Hair Truth Tip for you from ultrablackhair.com.